Okay, this is section 2.4, all about pie charts or circle graphs. So when we are talking about pie charts, they are used to display how a group is divided. So percents of the data take up a corresponding amount of the circle. That just means that if something is 50% of the data, it'll take up 50% of the circle, 25% take up 25%. So just how much of the circle is taken up by that section is how much of the population of the group is in that section. So for example, if we're looking at the following circle graph, shows how people in Maxine's office building get to work. There are 350 people working in the building. So transportation methods of employees, we can see that car alone takes up 61% of the people that filled it out. Okay, then we have public transit, carpool, bike, and walk with their corresponding percentages. This is a setting you can get on the graphs that are created in Google Sheets. So when you are making them, pick the kind of graph that has the percentages. I will show you ones that don't later on. So if we're looking what percentage of people walk to work and how many does this represent? If we're looking at our graph, 3% walk to work. So 3%, remember to find out how much that is of a number, we multiply the group total by the decimal form of a percent. So remember to go from a percent to a decimal. You divide by 100, get 0.03. So you multiply the amount of people by your 0.03 and you get approximately 11 people. Okay. Remember, it has to be a whole number because you cannot have part of a person. Okay. So then we're looking at what percentage of people come to work in a car and how many people is this? So for this one, I did car alone. And then we can do carpool as well if you would like. So car alone is 61%. So divide by 100 to get our decimal. We get 0.61. 350 times 0.61. It's approximately 214 people. Okay. And we can also do our number of people that come in carpool, because technically they're still coming in a car. So that is 9% divided by 100 gets us 0.09. Then you have 350 times 0.09. If you do that on your calculator, because I did not do that part in my part, you get approximately 32 people. So altogether, you get 246 people come to work in a car. Okay. Now we're going to look at consider those who carpool, walk, or bike. Is this more or less than the number who take public transit? So we are going to combine walk, bike, and carpool and see if we get a number greater than 22. To do this, we can just simply add up the percentages. So we can go 9% plus 5% plus 3%. It's a 17%. Okay. This is less than 22%. So it does not make up more. It makes up less than the number of people that take public transit. So carpool, walk, and bike added together take up less than the section taken up for public transit. How many more or less? If we look at the difference between 22% and 17%, you get a difference of 5%. So 5% divided by 100 is 0.05. 350 not divided, times, do not divide, you will get a number way bigger than your total, equals 17.5, which is approximately equal to 18 people. Okay, so that is how to read graphs and use the information that is provided. Okay, it is a lot easier to create circle graphs on the program, but we are actually going to go over how to create them also using just paper, pencil, and a protractor later on. But for now, I would like you to try build your skills on page 111, 112, numbers 1 to 3, and come back when you're done. Okay, so how to create a graph from a table of values. So I took this information and put it into a Google Sheets program, and I created a circle graph. So how that was done, if we go to Sheets, I already have the data put in. I'm going to highlight it, insert chart, and it inserts line chart. I don't want line chart, I want pie chart. Okay, so here is my pie chart, all done. Okay. So do I like the title? No. Change it. Make sure your title is an accurate representation and not just one of your headers from your data. Okay. Transportation methods of employees. There we go. So if we are looking at, it is not transportation methods of employees. It is transportation methods to school. Let's change that. That is not right. I am sorry. There we go. Great. So you will notice this has the percents on it. That can change. If we go to legend, we can do labeled, which is what we have. We can do just a legend that just has the colors. You can do top, where it just has the colors. So the only ones that have the percentages is the labeled one. I would suggest sticking to that one. Okay, because then you have your percentages automatically generated for you and you don't have to do it yourself. However, you can do it by yourself. So if we go back to the program, I will show you how to do that. So you'll notice you have the Google Sheets program, same type. Don't use one that has this kind of thing. It's confusing, right? It doesn't give you an accurate representation. Are these two the exact same? What do we know? But if it comes to the case where you have to generate one by hand, okay, how do you do this? First, draw a circle, okay? If we are looking at our next page, we have that done already. Then we go, okay, calculate what proportion of the data is represented by each section of the graph to find this complete amount per category divided by total people. So how many take the bus divided by the total people that were asked. To do this, we have to find the total people, so we would just add all these numbers together and get our total. Okay, then we go multiply the decimal form of the proportion by 360 degrees to figure out how much of the circle to take up. Okay, then we use a protractor to measure the angles accurately. If you need a protractor, they're on the red bookshelf. So you can have your data beside you as you are doing this. This is using the table that was on the page previous. So we have our car alone, carpool, motorbike, bus, bicycle, and walk. We're going to do this one from scratch. So to do it first things first, I need to add my data together. So I have 75 plus 20 plus 5 plus 75 plus 10 plus 15, which is equal to 200. Okay, so in total, 200 people were asked. Okay, we're going to do car alone first. 75 people out of the 200. Okay, that is 0.375 times it by 360 to figure out how much it represents, and that is 135 degrees. Using your protractor, make sure it goes through the center of the circle. Okay. Draw a line to line it up with to start. Using your protractor, I'll do my best to use this one. 135. Okay, and then just connect your dots. Okay, so that would be car alone. And then you just repeat that process for each one. So next we can do carpool. That was 20 out of 200, which is 0.1 times 360 equals 36 degrees. Using your protractor, line it up where your car one ended. And you should get 36 degrees. Okay. So this is carpool. Next is motorbike. Excuse me. And that was 5 out of 200, which was 0.025 times 360 degrees. Gets me 9 degrees, so that's very tiny. Line it up on the bottom line. 9 degrees. Okay. So that was motorbike. Then we have bus. Bus was 75 out of 200, which are calculations that we've already done. So 0.375. It's 135 degrees again. So line it up. 135. And draw your line. So this was bus. Then we have bicycle, which was 10 over 200, which is 0.05. 18 degrees approximately. So line up your protractor so that the point is in the middle, 18 degrees. Use the bottom of it as a straight edge. Sure. This was bike. Okay, and that means that our last section should be walk. Okay, so walk. How many people? 15 over 200, 0.075 times 360 equals 27 degrees. Just double check our measurement to make sure we were kind of in the same ballpark. If it's not exact, that's okay. We are at an angle of 28. That's okay. We're a degree off. That's okay. So how to get your percentages if you are doing this by hand. All it is take your decimal forms and multiply them by 100 to get your percents. So if you do that, you have car alone was 37.5%. Carpool was 10%. Motorbike was 5%. Nope, not 5%, 2.5%. plus 37.5% walk, 7.5%, and bike, 5%. Okay. All together, these should add up to 100, and you get your total. Okay. So you have one of two ways you can do it. You can do it by hand, where you have to do all of this work, which is not that fun. Or you can do it using the program, whichever you're more comfortable with. But either way, you have a couple problems to try before you move on to your practice your new skills. Okay, so try your build your skills on page 115, 116, numbers 4 to 6, before you try your practice your new skills on page 117 to 118, numbers 1 to 3. Okay, good luck. If you need help learning how to use the program, ask one of your classmates. If you still need help, and I'm not currently in the middle of a lesson with the foundations class, come on in and ask for help.